So here we are, with another entry in the Best Team Alternate Starter Series. It's been a very long road traveled, and I think we're all pretty happy that we're finally starting to get close to the end of this series. We're going to be wrapping up this Ultra Sun and Moon stay with Incineroar, and again, I tried my best to do things a little differently in this one, just like when we worked out with Decidueye in the last video. So as always, if you're unfamiliar with this series, I'll go ahead and explain it to you real quick. A best team is a team of 6 Pokemon that is designed for the absolute best performance for its said Pokemon game. The team usually revolves around a best starter, but since we're focusing alternate starters, this team will revolve around one of them instead, with this team focusing on Incineroar. Each team member is designed to do well against the Totem Pokemon, the Kahunas, the Elite Four member, Champion, Rival, and the Evil Team leaders. When it comes to taking their movesets, we'll be including TM moves, however we do not allow egg moves nor post-game tutor moves. So with all that out of the way, let's hop into this best team for Ultra Sun and Moon Incineroar style. We're going to, of course, open up this best team with the Pokemon of the hour, Incineroar. When it comes to Torracat and Litten, you're going to be working with pure fire types up until Incineroar steps in the ring, where from then on, you'll have yourself a fire dark type. Much like with the other lines of starter Pokemon in Alola, Litten evolves in the Torracat at level 17, and then Torracat will become an Incineroar. When we take a look at Incineroar's stats, the one that stands out the most is the base 115 attack, which makes Incineroar the strongest physical attacker of the Alolan trio. Though that isn't too big of a surprise, considering Incineroar is a wrestler after all. It's got a pair of solid defense stats with 90 in both and 95 base HP, so there is some bulk potential there. However, it is the slowest of the starters, with 60 base speed, so that's something that'll have to be dealt with. So the moveset is looking like this: Darkest Lariat, Flare Blitz, Brick Break, and U-Turn. Darkest Lariat is Incineroar's signature move, and has got 85 base power, which naturally will be getting a stab boost. Since you don't get Darkest Lariat until Torracat evolves, just use Bite until then, which you get upon leveling up at level 24. The next move is Flare Blitz. Though Incineroar doesn't actually learn that until level 55, I'd suggest you using Flame Charge first. You end up getting it after you defeat Colress in a battle, and that move has got 50 base power and boosts Incineroar's awful speed by a stage with every successful hit. Flare Blitz has got 120 base power, but of course, there's a 33% HP recoil along with a 10% chance to burn the opponent, so it's a move that should be used strategically. Brick Break can be found as a TM in Verdant Cavern, one which you can actually get your hands on before facing off with the totem. Finally, we have U-Turn, which can be bought in Mile City at the Mart for 10,000 Poké. A nice bug type move that provides a good way to get Incineroar off the field if you need that. Alright, so with these moves, Incineroar will be able to do well against the Totem Gumshoes, Raticate, Alolan Marowak, Lurantis, Togedemaru and Ribombee, Guzma's entire team except Golisopod, Lucimene's Lilligant, Beware and Lopunny, Mina's Mawile and Ribombee, Olivia's Lileep and Lycanroc, but be careful, Nani's Crocroc and Alolan Persian, Hapu's Golurk, Mulaney's entire team, Olivia's entire E4 team except Armaldo, but still be careful. Ace Roll's entire team is Pikachu's of Palestine, and House Tauros, Decidueye, and Crabominable. Incineroar offers some big help against a large amount of your Alolan challenge, so make sure you get the most out of it. Alright, so next up, how about we get a little different, but not really. In a playthrough of Ultra Sun and Moon, you'll probably notice that Hau has a Pikachu, and eventually a Raichu, so I figured, why not use one too? That's right, I'm calling upon the shocking power of Alolan Raichu. You'll be able to get a Pikachu by facing off with Pichu on Route 1 and waiting for Pikachu to be called as its SOS partner. Eventually, you'll have a Pikachu, and then you'll find a Thunderstone on Route 9, and you'll be able to evolve your Pikachu into Raichu. Alolan Raichu is rather fast, and it's got very solid attack stats, so you'll have some options there. Surge Surfer is an interesting ability if you ever find yourself in a battle with the electric terrain set up. The moves I've got together for Raichu are Thunderbolt, Psychic, Focus Blast, and Grass Knot. So, with Thunderbolt, you'll need the Titus to Raichu by TM, which you'll be able to get at the Sandy Cave on Melee Island, though you'll need a Machamp Shuff for it, so be prepared to use one of a few other Electric-type moves while you wait to get to that point. After that, there is Psychic, which Raichu will learn upon evolving from Pikachu, so you'll have that as early as your battle with Olivia. Next up is Focus Blast, which you'll be able to purchase in Seafolk Village on Pony Island. Finally, we've got Grass Knot, which is great coverage for ground types, which you can find in the Lush Jungle. So with these moves, Raichu should be able to do well against the Totem Araquanid and Komodo, Guzma's Golisopod and Masquerain, Lucimene's Lopunny, Beware, and Milotic, Hapu's Mudsdale and Gastrodon, though maybe you shouldn't risk it, Mulaney's Magnezone, Dugtrio, and Bisharp, but be careful, Olivia's entire E4 team except Armaldo, Ace Roll's Drifblim and Palossand, Kahili's entire team, and has Tauros, Crabominable, and Vaporeon. Raichu covers for all of Kahili's team, which is a great thing, and all in all, it'll be a nice option to turn to throughout Alola. Next up, I've got another new Pokemon that I haven't featured on the previous Ultra Sun and Moon best teams. I got some inspiration from Incineroar with this one, as I went with Palestine. Palestine is a nice physically defensive Pokemon with base 110 in that, and it can hit really hard specially with 100 base in that stat. Essentially, it serves well as a physically bulky special attacker with a great ability in water compaction, which will raise its defense whenever it's hit by a water type move. You can find a Sandygast on Akala Island at Hano Beach, and at level 42, it'll evolve into Palestine. It'll be a little bit until you evolve it, but it's worth it. Alright now, the moveset Palestine has is led off with Earth Power, followed by Shadow Ball and Energy Ball, and it's closed up by Sludge Bomb. Earth Power is learned at level 47, so not too long after evolution. You can use a move like Bulldoze for a bit while you wait to get Earth Power. The next one is Shadow Ball, and that is learned at level 41 by Sandygast, so it's a powerful move to have before even evolving, though you can also find the TM on Route 14, which is even sooner. The next one is Energy Ball, and you should get your hands on that as a TM on Route 8 as long as you have Machamp Shove, so you'll have to at least have made it to Pony Island. Finally, there is Sludge Bomb, which is found as a TM at the Shady House in Po Town. So with these moves, Palestine is able to do well against the Totem Alolan Marowak, Togedemaru, Mimikyu, and Ribombee, Lucimene's Clefable and Lilligant, Mina's entire team, Olivia's Lycanroc, Hoppy's entire team except for Flygon, Mullane's entire team, Olivia's entire team except Armaldo, Acerolla's entire team, and how's Alolan Raichu, Vaporeon, and the Decidueye. Palestine is going to run the gauntlet for you through 3/4 of the Elite Four and handle half of Hal's team on its own. So while you get it a little later in your challenge, it's pretty good once it comes around. So with Raichu, I went and took a Pokemon off of House team. And with Palestine, I went and took one from Acerolla's playbook. So how about I keep this up and take Guzma's Ace from him? Yeah, I think I will. And thus, we will have Golisopod on this team. You'll be able to find a Wimpod in the Diving Peak Tunnel as well as Route 8. And by the time you get to level 30, you'll have yourself a Golisopod. Once you have Golisopod, you'll have a Pokemon with crazy base 140 defense and a superb 125 base attack. This is the premier physical Pokemon on this team. And even with its poor 40 speed, it's still going to be good out there on the field. Alright now, the moveset we have: Liquidation, Leech Life, Rock Slide, and Drill Run. Liquidation is a fantastic physical water type move that Golisopod learns at level 48, and it is just really good. It's got a chance to lower the opponent's defense, which only makes Golisopod more dangerous. The next move is Leech Life, which is learned via TM, and that TM is found in the Alola outskirts. Rock Slide is next, and that is also learned via TM, which is found on Route 17, just before Po Town. And finally, we have Drill Run. Now, you guys told me back in the Decidueye best team that you should use some of the moves that you need BP for, since you can play the Mantine surfing game to get some. So I decided to include some this time. If you go to Ula Ula Beach, you can learn Drill Run from the move tutor in exchange for 8 battle points. With these moves, Golisopod should be able to do well against the Totem Lurantis, Togedemaru, and Ribombee, Guzma's entire team, but you should watch out for electric and flying type moves, Lucimene's Lilligant, Mina's Mawile and Ribombee, Olivia's Lilip, Nanu's Persian and Krokorok, Hoppy's Golurk and Mudsdale, Mullane's entire team, Olivia's entire E4 team, Acerolla's Driplim, Frostlass and Palossand, Kahili's entire team except Halucha, but be careful for all those flying type moves, and how's Raichu and Noivern, though do be careful with these two as well. Once again, we have another Pokemon that will help you out big time in the late game, and overall turns out to be a great option for Alola. Well everybody, I'm proud to tell you, we've got yet another new Pokemon coming to these best teams for Ultra Sun and Moon. And this one is the usual normal type I like to try and include on teams like these. This time, we're calling upon Miltank to join us, and you'll be able to get one at Paniola Ranch. Miltank is quite fast, with base 100 speed, and has some solid defense that is also high at base 105. Basically, you've got a fast, bulky Pokemon here, with a nice attack stat that'll be able to offer a little extra coverage from early on. Let's take a look here. We've got Return, Zen Headbutt, Bulldoze, and Iron Head working out to be our incredible moveset for Miltank. Return was a pretty obvious choice for success on this set, as it's an incredibly strong normal type move that serves Miltank well during your playthrough. You'll be getting it after you defeat Nanu, and also after receiving the TM for Frustration in Mile City. You'll be using Body Slam until then, which of course is yet another great move. Zen Headbutt will come via level up at level 29, and Bulldoze is a TM that you can buy in Konikoni City. Finally, there is Iron Head, and this is another 8 BP move that you can get from the tutor on Ula Ula Beach. Miltank is going to be able to use these moves to do well against the Totem Togedemaru, Komodo, and Ribombee, Lucimene's Clefable, Mina's entire team, Olivia's Lycanroc and Anorith if you utilize Rollout against the latter, Mullane's entire team, Olivia's entire E4 team, Acerolla's Frostlass, Kahili's Halucha, and how's Raichu and Crabominable. As you can see, Miltank joins the rest of the team in being a force down the stretch, and that powerful return will be a good move to pull out against any Pokemon, even if it isn't super effective. Boy though, I gotta say, things are just looking absolutely awful for Mullane. That poor guy is absolutely getting crushed, but is every single Pokemon we've had so far. Unfortunately for him, it's only going to be getting worse. For our final entry, as returning from the original best team for Ultra Sun and Moon, is Halucha. It's a return that made a lot of sense given the composition of the team, and I figured it was just going to be a nice one to bring back here. Halucha can be found on Route 3 on Melee Island, so it's another one that's gotten very early. Now, the one drawback on Halucha is that, unfortunately, you can't get your hands on it prior to taking on the first totem challenge. So while it would be great to have against either Raticate or Gumshoes, you'll just need to rely on purely Litten for that battle. So our final moveset for today starts with Flying Press and Acrobatics, followed by Stone Edge, and then closed out with X-Scissor. Flying Press is Halucha's signature move, and that one is going to be learned at level 28. It's obviously a double whammy sort of move, since it carries both a Flying type and Fighting type designation. It's got base 100 power, and it's just really dang good. Next, we've got Acrobatics, a TM obtained on Route 15 after you have the Sharpedo Jet. So until you can get it, I suggest just holding onto Aerial Ace, which is learned to level 16. We've got Stone Edge up next, which is a TM that is bought in the Seafolk Village, and will give Halucha coverage against other flying types. Finally, there's X-Scissor, which is found as a TM on Route 16, and provides some nice coverage for psychic types. So with these moves, Halucha will be able to do well against the Totem Araquanid, Lurantis, Togedemaru, Komodo, and Rabombi, Guzma's entire team except for Vikavolt, Lucamine's Lilligant, Beware, and Lopunny, but watch out for some of the elemental punches. Mina's Rabombi, but be careful. Hala's entire team, Olivia's Lileep and Lycanroc, Nani's Krokorok and Alolan Persian, Mulan's entire team except for Metagross, Olivia's entire E4 team, Acerol's Drifblim and Frostlass, though be careful. And you need to be careful with Kahilia's entire team except for Halucha as well. Finally, there is Hal's Tauros, Noivern, and Crabominable. Halucha puts in a ton of work against plenty of totems and kahunas, and of course brings it for the battle against Elite Four and Hal as well. It's definitely one of the best Pokemon to use in an Ultra Sun and Moon playthrough. Well, that's going to do it for the alternate starter series of my best teams. Well, actually, that's not exactly true. As coming up soon, I'm going to be bringing you guys something you've wanted for quite some time, but I'll leave it as a mystery for now. I just want to thank you guys for hanging through this series of best teams in Alola though. It's a little bittersweet to say goodbye to this region for now, but we sure did a lot in it. Let me know what you guys think about this team though, and if you use it, let me know how it works in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream all sorts of games from Pokemon to Fire Emblem to Zelda and much more. I also have an anime channel called MysticSage where I do anime reviews, rankings, and countdowns, so if you're interested in that kind of content, go ahead and check that out as well. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there, and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.